for you, for me, for our purposes out there. So, hey
Perfect.
guys, it's Coach Conway. I am here with, is it Dane Anar? Is that how you pronounce the last name?
Anyar.
Anyar. All right.
Yeah.
So I trill that. Need to have a little
Yeah.
mark over the top of it. And he's been on several group coaching calls with me over the last couple of weeks. And I just really have appreciated his perspective. It's really obvious that he stands out on what he's doing online. So I just want to take a minute to kind of have a casual conversation with him, to share with us, some of his tips, tools, best practices, and what you're doing out there. So tell us a little bit about, if you feel like if you've got like a secret sauce or a niche or something you may be doing that you don't see a lot of loan officers doing out there. What is it?
I mean, for me, it's my production or my level of production, my production quality, because I have professional grade equipment and then I can produce things that are, high, high quality and content that's actually going to be engaging and not just me standing up against a wall with, just talking, staring at a teleprompter or whatever. Like I try to make my stuff more relatable with my consumers, with the people that I market to the most, just because they're gonna find me more trustworthy if they feel like I'm not just trying to sell them another product.
Okay. So you're trying to engage with them at a higher level, and video is one of the platform that you use to do that with.
Absolutely.
So,
And I just like creating video too, so it's been a lot of fun.
yeah, I tell you, that's something Tim Davis challenges us all the time to do as coaches, is find something that your coaching clients like to do that also has a business benefit for them. And it's kind of like find something you enjoy, you never work another day of your life, right?
Yep, exactly.
So that's a part of it. Tell us how you place yourself, position yourself as far as online. Are there different platforms that you're publishing this to, or is it one in particular, or what?
So I mainly focus on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I'll post like the YouTube link on my LinkedIn and whatnot. To be honest, I haven't really used my LinkedIn ever since I left my recruiting career. So I have a ton of connections on there, but I just don't ever use that network for whatever reason. I really should. But Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube have been the three that I focus the most on. And then I've been testing a lot of different methods of delivery to determine which is going to get me the most organic traffic to either a video on YouTube or to the video on Facebook from whatever avenue that it's coming from. So
Right.
There's just tons of different testing that I'm just still collecting data on, because I'm still relatively new to movement and I'm still relatively new to really putting a ton of effort into my marketing and advertising, and actually tracking all the data that I'm getting from it too.
Okay. So let's talk about content. I get people asking me all the time, hey coach, how do you come up with the content, what you're going to be talking about? What do you do, Dane?
What was it? Rip off and
Deploy the R&D?
Yeah, R&D, rip off and deploy. I mean, that's really what it boils down to, because there's so many people on YouTube that cater to different demographics, and we all come up with various ideas of content, and it's taking that content, not necessarily plagiarizing it 100%, but just saying like, okay, that's a good topic to talk about. Let me talk about it in my own specific way, or my tone, or my manner, to my people. I also realized too that people, as much as we as LOs really want to believe that we know everything and that everything is so simple to understand about a mortgage, our consumers aren't like that. And so I can take I can talk about the entire home buying process in 5 minutes, but it's just going to go right over their head. So I'm going to take this itty bitty little portion and I'm going to extend it out as long as possible and make a 5 to 10 minute video on it, on just this tiny little thing, which to you and me is just like, oh duh. To everybody else, they're like, when you explain it to them.
Yep. So I think it's a really good point. Tim Davis gives a formula for that, and I've shared that, I think, with you guys on one of our group calls before. Is you pick one topic, share 3 things about it, make a 3-minute video, and that's a kind of a quick in and out. And you're just taking on that and expanding and applying maybe 10 things about one particular topic, like how has what's going on right now with COVID-19 affect the appraisal industry.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I try to also always add like some sort of real life scenario that would go along with it to put it into context. And then that way, like, I can explain it to a person. Some people, their learning types, they need to be more immersed into the situation and actually like picture themselves in it. And so I try to put in some sort of relatable scenario that people are going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I totally know somebody who's done that.
Yeah.
I can totally see, why that would be beneficial to that person.
So I think that falls into the old information tells, but stories sell.
Yep,
So you got
very
to tell
much.
stories to sell. And all the great influencers, opinion influencers out there tell stories. I mean, it's actually a template for speaking. There's a formula for that. So as I was going through some John Maxwell training, they give you kind of a shorthand as you're listening to a speaker to go through where they give you payoffs. So it's a joke or a
Hmm.
story, and the amount of payoffs that you've got and stories that you got versus the actual hard knowledge learning. And what you'll find out is the best speakers out there spend a lot more time in the storytelling and the payoff mode than they do in the actual creating the information, because that makes it engaging, entertaining. So I love that. That's good
Exactly.
stuff,
I
man.
agree 100%.
So can you share with us a little bit of, the behind the scenes, the technical stuff? And I don't necessarily mean the equipment, but are you taking the same video or are you sharing it across multiple platforms? Does it need to be changed or anything or edited between that? Or is it?
I mean, I could take that extra step, but I'm all about efficiency, and so there's no like if I wanted to edit it specifically for IGTV, where I have to instead of it being landscape, it has to be in portrait mode. I found out that you can just still upload a landscape or landscape mode video into IGTV, and all you have to do is just turn your phone sideways, and you can watch the entire thing. Um, there's I've yet to really find any reason to have to create multiple versions of a video. The only two versions I create is my high res one and then a super super low res one that I can upload to compliance, so that way they're not pissed that I'm just posting videos without their knowledge.
So the low res, I guess I'm missing the point there. So you give that one to compliance so they can view it. Is that what the deal is?
Their website just doesn't allow for large files
You
to
got you.
be uploaded, and so like
Gotcha.
my videos are anywhere from 700 megabytes to 2 gigs big.
Right.
So but if I do a low res file, it's like 30 megabytes and it uploads to their site just fine.
So is there any limitations on size on some of the social media platforms you're
Not
sharing?
that I've found. Nobody's like I haven't come across anything that told me that a file was too large to render or to upload. And also, I mean, nowadays they're like YouTube can support 8K cameras. So I mean that's
Okay.
16 gigabyte video for 5 minutes of content, right? And so I'm nowhere near that by any means. And if YouTube can support it, they can support my little dinky video.
That's good stuff there. So I know Tim Davis and I've talked about, and he went out and bought all the equipment and everything like that. And I may be tossing you a softball, or you may not completely get this, but for the normal loan officer out there, what is there any special equipment, or you think that's necessary for them to start doing video on their own?
Two things: lighting and a good microphone.
Okay.
That's like the two biggest things that I could recommend to anybody. There's a lot of people that utilize like ring lights, and I mean it's all just personal preference. But if you light yourself properly and you have a decent phone, the phones can the like cameras on phones nowadays are just insane. They're so good, but you have to have good lighting to make it look proper. And then sound, audio, just a good lapel microphone. Like I have one up here that I could be using. It's just a little lapel mic. And you put
Is that
that on your
compatible with
shirt.
the phone?
What's that?
Is that also compatible with the phone, or?
Yeah, so I have one that's specifically for like iPhone and Android and stuff like that, and I don't know where I put it. I lost it somewhere. But this one, I mean, that one, the one that I just pointed out, is hooked up to my little audio interface thingy bobber that I
Right.
have over down here.
And I think I appreciate that. That's what Tim had told us before is, so many people overthink this, and he's got all the fancy equipment, but I think what it comes down to is a lot of officers are busy, and
Hmm.
I get asked all the time, what's the best CRM? The CRM that you're going to use. What's the
Yeah,
best thing to
exactly.
film video with? Whatever you're going to film it with. And what he found is, like you said, you want to do a podcast, download the Anchor podcast app. You hit a button on your phone and you can record a podcast, put it across all platforms.
Yeah,
You want to put a video up on
definitely.
YouTube, grab
Right
your
from my
phone,
phone.
record it, publish it to
Yep.
YouTube immediately out there.
Yeah.
So that's
No,
good.
I for a hot minute I was trying to do things from my phone. Like I went and bought the brand new iPhone for the better video camera on it,
Right.
but I'm just too much of a perfectionist to not do everything to the highest standard that I have available to me, just because that's just my personality. So
Right.
like that's why all of my videos are shot in such high clarity and such expensive equipment, because I have all of it.
Right. So, why not use it like you said? And that's the thing, you get a kick out of, you enjoy producing that type of quality content out there.
Hmm.
And that is kind of what sets you apart from others. It's just more obvious when you look at what your video content's like. That's good stuff up there. So, tips for somebody that wanted to get started. Is there a particular platform that's easier? Start on Facebook, start on YouTube, reasons why they might use one or the other?
I would tell somebody to start on their Facebook, just because they already have friends and family that are already connected to them, and to be open and honest about feedback, and to be open to receiving feedback as well. Because there's a lot of people that go into this thinking that if they're not perfect like everybody else on YouTube, that they're not going to be good enough, therefore they're not going to succeed. And that's just a really bad mindset to be in, because we all suck at whatever it is that we do for the very first time, right? So there's no point in trying to come out the gate thinking that, oh, I'm going to be the best at this, and if I don't hit a certain threshold, that I'm not going to continue doing it. That was me for a long time, where if I didn't do it, like I would spend so much time thinking, like how do I plan for this? And then I'd execute finally, and I'd be late to the game, or, I'd come out and it wouldn't even be as good as I expected it to be. And so for those that are, instead of, outside of the advice of just go and do it, it's, be be open to sharing it with everyone, because you're opening a part of your life to people that you don't even know, that are going to watch you and judge you and all sorts of stuff, and you have to be okay with that.
Right. One of the things that I've seen as I was coaching a particular coaching client, her name was Tamara. So if she happens to see this, she'll probably get a chuckle out of this. But I had a really hard time getting her out of her comfort zone to do video. And a matter of fact, I did not get her out of her comfort zone to do video. It was a mutual friend of ours that coaches the military mortgage boot camp folks. And
Mhm.
he had more of that boot camp mentality where he got up in her face and was like, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I need help. She's like, I see like me. He's like, you go do your first video and we'll talk about giving you help. But I tell you what, her first video, she did it from a production standpoint and everything, like it was awful, right? And she'll admit it was awful like that, but it had like 2,000 views, right? Very first video that she puts
Yeah.
out there. And it connected her in a level with her community because it was authentic, man.
Yeah.
She's a
That's
veteran herself, and it
yeah.
related to people that were veterans. And
Yeah.
it really, I think she'll tell you today that kind of launched her career in connecting with veterans, and whether they're a realtor, I think it was one of them was a county commissioner that she got connected with, and it gave her the confidence she needed to pursue that farther. And I tell you, she really caught on fire
That's
in
awesome.
her business because of one authentic video that she really didn't want to do. Quality wasn't great, but I tell you, it was right from the heart.
And that's you hit a really good point, being people need to be authentic and genuine in their videos, because there's a lot of, I've seen a lot of videos get put out, especially within like the mortgage and real estate industry, that immediately you can tell that the person in the video is just trying to sell you.
Right.
They don't care about your situation, they don't care about your business, they just want your money, they just want your commission. And those are the videos that aren't going to get very far, because people can't relate to that. And so with my videos, I do all my antics, and like one of the things that I am getting away with, and I didn't think that I would get away with compliance, is swearing in my videos, but I'll bleep my swear word out. But the fact that my clients all know that I cuss like a sailor, and all my clients cuss like sailors too. But when they watch a video of me, like putting out information about mortgages, and I drop an F-bomb or I drop something else and I bleep it out, they're like, that's Dane. That is exactly how he
That is our
talks.
man, right?
That is an authentic, comment from him about that topic.
That's awesome, man. So in my book, not trying to plug my book, but I've got a relational experience that I share in there. When I first started playing golf, I didn't play in competition up to the level that I should have. And the reason that I didn't is I was trying to be somebody that wasn't me. I call it playing in your own skin. So I had this vision growing up in Texas that I needed to be like some of the best Texas golfers. And it just so happens two of the best golfers that's ever lived grew up in Texas and actually knew and played against each other as kids. And they were both, well, one in particular had a very stoic type personality. So I thought, well, if I want to be like Hogan, I need to play like Hogan, I need to be like Hogan. And what I became was this very, isolated, separated type person on the golf course, taking it way, way too seriously, get through play and have a huge headache and wouldn't really perform because I was putting so much pressure on myself. You're not comfortable when you're being something that you really aren't, and other people pick
Exactly.
up on that.
Yep.
And what I found out much too late in life, really, was I played a lot better when I was just out with my buddies kicking around having fun. So it took me a while to figure out what the difference was between competition and just going out and playing with my buddies. And that was it. I wasn't being true to myself, being my natural self. So,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I did the same thing. Like, and I played for 2 years. I just did a ton of tournaments as a golfer because I was like, I wanted to be in competitive mode with other friends and whatnot. And then I just didn't play well. Like, I was too busy getting caught in my head of like, how am I gonna, make sure that I make top three or I can take some of the cash pot home. But then after I did that, I got really good during those 2 years. Like, I definitely improved my skill. But when I finally just was like, I'm not doing tournaments anymore and just go out and play with my buddies, like it's so much more fun because I can play a good round. I can, talk trash with my buddies and do whatever we do on the golf course and, have fun.
yep. So one of the things you hit that I want to circle back around to, that I don't know why I got off on a tangent somewhere on that, but you're talking about measuring what's working out there. So how do you pay attention to that? Are you just looking at likes and stuff on Facebook, or are there other analytics that you're using out there to kind of figure out what's gravitating with your
So I've
audiences?
been using like the core analytics that come with like Instagram and Facebook are actually really intuitive and actually do provide a lot of data. But I'm not necessarily looking like, of course, I'm looking at how many likes and comments and stuff like that happen on a post, but I'm also factoring in, what is the post about? What is the type, like, what is the media behind the post? Is it a blog post? Is it a video? Is it a picture? Is it a meme? Who is it targeted to? Is it to the consumer, to other mortgage loan officers, to real estate agents? And there's just all these various variables that allow me to be like, okay, this worked for this section and this worked really well over here. So I'm going to put more effort into this over there, more effort into this over here. Like one thing that I found out in the last week and a half is animated little like less than 3-second animated GIFs on Instagram and turn them into memes and make them a relatable commentary to our industry. I literally probably almost 1200% like grown in traffic and engagement on Instagram just from those memes. And it's like, oh, all right. And like these are people from all across the country who have no idea who I am and they don't care who I am, but they found something that was funny that they related to, that they're like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And it just brought more traffic in.
So when you have something like that, what is the actual, what do you think the business collateral, if you will, or what's the business asset? How does that help you when you're engaging like that with, I mean, do those people actually come and follow you then at that point, or what do you get out of it, I think?
Depends. Like usually I'll go and follow the person. If they like the photo, I'll go through the entire list of people that liked it and I'll just follow every single one of them. And then that way, and then some of them will fall back, some of them won't. I've gained a handful of coffee dates before, like back when we were able to go out for coffee.
Right.
Just from liking people's posts on Instagram and just shooting them a message and be like, hey, like I really like your Instagram. That's super cool. And they respond and then a conversation starts and then I can pitch them and say, hey, we should go grab a cup of coffee. Uh, but it just makes it less invasive and less salesy when I can actually create a relationship with the person and actually like talk to them, because I've noticed that pretty much every real estate agent, at least up here in Washington, is like, oh, you're a loan officer? Okay, I already have one. Like, I don't want to talk to you because I don't want you to sell me, et cetera, et cetera. But when I'm introduced to a real estate agent by a mutual friend, somebody that can essentially vet me and vouch for me, that real estate agent is like, oh, yes, we should be friends. Let's talk. Let's partner up. Let's do this. Let's do that. Because there's somebody that said he's good enough for me to recommend him to you.
I love that. You brought up something else that I think is really interesting about having a particular skill set that you have is, yeah, you may have a really good loan officer, but he can't do video like I can. So
And I've done that. I've definitely pulled that angle many times with real estate agents. And like I have one real estate partner who primarily deals in just like $1 to $3 million homes only. And I actually met her because she was dating a friend of mine. It was a long story, but anyway, she super bubbly, super fun. We got along really well. And probably about a year and a half after we had met, I had actually rebranded. I helped her rebrand her entire real estate business, and so it was more vibrant, more colorful. And I actually gave her gave her the ideas and the tools to be able to say, okay, this is what you really like. This is an authentic you. Like this is really who you are. Let's show the world, but also do it in a professional,
right.
trustworthy manner.
I love that, man. And I think, that's something that um, we need to think about as loan officers out there. So when I have a loan officer sit down with a new realtor referral partner, there's a process that I go through. I learned some of it from the core, and it's asking them, what their three non-negotiables are, asking them what their biggest challenge in the business is. It's not different really than a lot I go through with a coaching client of my own. And some realtors take it when you're asking them, what their challenges are. They only give you challenges related to the mortgage industry.
Mm-hmm.
Why does that have to be? And that's something I help open people's mind up is everybody out there has something to contribute to somebody else. You are an expert at something that the majority of people that you are in your sphere, you're better than.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something that you've got. So when I asking people what their biggest challenge is, I don't care what it is. I don't really, if it's real estate related, because I can do one or two things. If it's not something that I'm personally good at, I may know somebody that's really good at, and I can connect them.
100%. I
It
agree.
may be something that I'm good at. So that's, a backdoor angle in. If you're really authentically wanting to help people, dig deeper into them, you know, let's get the real, what's your biggest challenge out there. And if they will share the truth with you, then you may be able to help them in a way they may not vision. That might not get you business today, but it
Yeah,
gets you a relationship that may get you a business a year from now,
absolutely.
5 years.
I
So
agree 100% on that. That
awesome.
is very much what I do with my business as well.
Yep. Well, I love it, man. We've used a 30 minutes of time, and I was thinking we might have been able to wrap it in 15, but there was too much good stuff that was going on here. So, Dane, thanks so much
You're
for
so very welcome. Thank
speaking
you.
up and helping out there. Let's give you a chance to plug yourself. How do we find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at dane.the.mortgage.guy, or you can also check me out on my website at danethemortgageguy.com. Or if you really want to find out more about me, literally just Google who is Dane and you will find everything about
Who
me.
is Dane, the great Dane, right?
Of
I appreciate your time, man. And
course. Thank you. I appreciate yours.
we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Coach Conway, it's Ever Settle for Par.